Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all the honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles of the Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity. And unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning. And unto the Bayat Dabadah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad. I give you my utmost and sincere salutation. Salakia for a second. I had to grab my notes here real quick for today's camp lesson. So we're going to go a little bit into, what it means to be like-minded, to be on one accord, and, to be in agreement with one another, because, when you have people of different philosophies or different religions or different governments, they have different belief systems, different codes of conduct. And here in America, they say you can, that do as thou wilt. You can be whatever you want to be. Your ways of living your life may conflict with another person's way of life, and they may say, no, you're in the wrong, or you may fire back and say, no, you're wrong. Okay, and that's the problem. Is like, you're in the wrong for doing this, yet that person could be in the wrong for doing that. So, that's why, people think that we're just using the Bible as a scapegoat. And I said, no, we're not. This is the word of the Lord, We have to follow his way, because his way is the only way. Okay? The ways of man, the ways of the world, it's all vain. There ain't nothing to gain from all of this. Excuse me. So we're going to start off with Amos. It's not going to get there. Amos chapter 3, verse 3. And it says, oh my gosh. It's the win here. Amos chapter 3, verse 3, and it says, can two walk together except they be agreed? So, can two people, be on accord if one of them has a different opinion or a different way of thinking? They're not on one accord. No, they can't. They can't walk together, because one person views this way and the other person views this way or that way. Okay? In order for the pair to work together, they have to be on one accord. They have to be like-minded. And the people here in America, they're divided, As roughly paraphrasing, a house divided against itself shall not stand, right? So the people here in America are not on one accord, okay? They're not in agreement with one another. And that's this place is a complete contradictory and is opposed to the scriptures here. Next is going to be Proverbs. Proverbs 14 and 12. Give me a second. Proverbs chapter 14, verse 12. And it says, there is a way which seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. Okay? So, a man, in every way, in a man's eyes, he is right, and that's the problem. It's his pride, and that's what this place, America, aka Babylon, is full of. It's full of pride. There's little to no ounce of humility in this place, and if there is, it's extremely rare and hard to find. Because the majority of the people here in America are prideful. Okay, they're more concerned with who is right rather than what is right. And that's the problem. That's why this place is is fucked up the way that it is. All right, and here's I'm gonna go down to verse 15. Proverbs 14 and 15. The simple believeth every word, but the prudent man looketh well to his going. Okay. All right. So yeah. So the simple believeth every word. You know, the people that don't have no common sense, or you know, lack the ability of critical thinking. You know, they believe every word that they're told. You know, they go by word of mouth. You know, they don't do their own research and find out if what this person is saying is actually true, or if it's or if it's, you know, if it lacks credibility. But the prudent man looketh well to his going. So the prudent man is the one that will go the extra mile to do his research and to examine and find out if whatever, you know, examine the whole matter to see whether it's true or if there's some falsehood. Okay. And I'm gonna put verse 16. A wise man feareth and departeth from evil, but the fool rageth and is confident. Okay, so a wise man will fear and depart from evil because he knows the difference between right and, well, he knows what is right and what is wrong. You know, he's not going to do the wrong things that are going to be displeasing to the Lord. And the fool that rageth, but the fool rageth and is confident, meaning that he boasts and he's confident, he's proud of himself. Okay? He's that guy that think that his shit don't stink. He think he's better than everybody else. You know, these fools, they're boastful. They do these bold, ridiculous acts to get attention, to show off, and all of that. But it's for nothing. Verse 18, the simple inherit folly, but the prudent are crowned with knowledge. Okay, so the simple inherit folly, they inherit foolishness, stupidity. But the prudent are crowned with knowledge. Okay, because the prudent, the wise, they're crowned with knowledge because they seek knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Okay? In this life, you know, you're supposed to educate yourself, edify yourself, you know, and you know, you're supposed to study these scripts because it becomes a way of life, you know. This is not just an instruction booklet, it's everything. History, knowledge on what to do and what not to do, how to deal with people. This book gives you everything that you need. Okay? Okay, let's see here. I'm going to drop down to verse 26. Proverbs 14 and 26. In the fear of the Lord is strong confidence, and his children shall have a place of refuge. Okay? The name of the Lord is a strong tower, and the righteous runneth into it and are safe, right? Roughly paraphrasing. So we put all of our faith, trust, and confidence in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai that he's going to protect us from every and any situation that we're in. That, you know, that we're going to get through it. Or get out of it in some way. Alright, verse 27, the fear of the Lord is a fountain of life, to depart from the snares of death. Okay? In the multitude of people is the king's honor, but in the want of people is the destruction of the prince. Okay? In the multitude of people is the king's honor. Okay? And the people, they follow their king. They look to their king for guidance and instruction, right? And the king is supposed to be wise and instruct his people to do what is right, right? But as it says right here, but in the want of people is the destruction of a prince. Okay? You know, being covetous, seeking attention, doing worldly carnal things just to get that attention, Um, basically, being an attention whore, pride, showing off, trying to build a name for yourself, like how these people do with social media and all that, just to gain followers for their own popularity. Okay, this is not a popularity contest. We're not out here to gain fame or to be people pleasers or to gain popularity. We're here for Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Okay? He called us into this truth to do his will, which is to get his word out. Okay? And to keep his law, statutes, and commandments to the best of our ability, and to study. Okay? We're not here to build a social media status. We're not here for that. Okay? We don't care what people say, think, or feel about us. This is Proverbs 15, starting from the top. A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. Okay? So, a soft, gentle answer, it can de-escalate a situation. Learning how to control your tongue, that leads to life. You got to learn how to, as they say, depending on who you're dealing with and how they take it, you got to learn to choose your words carefully, because you don't know how people are going to react to what you say. You really don't. You could say something that could really piss somebody off, and they'll just put on that mask like, okay, fine, I got you. Next thing you know, that person blindsides you. So, you got to be really careful how you use words, because words have power and words can hurt people. That's why I never believed in that old stupid ass saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me, because words can hurt a person. They can destroy a person. Okay? Words do have power. But grievous words stir up anger. So, you could say something just to stir up some shit, like start a fight. Just because this person said something about you that you didn't like, and then you react in the same manner, which in turn is going to get the same reaction, if not worse. Okay, that's why you got to really learn to just either sometimes just shut up or find another way, to answer. Verse 2, the tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright, but the mouth of fools poureth out foolishness. So, okay? So, the wise, the people that are knowledgeable, use wisdom for answers. But those without, they poureth out vain things that mean absolutely nothing. Okay, verse 3, the eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding the evil and the good. Verse 4, a wholesome tongue is a tree of life, but the perverseness therein is a breach in the spirit. Okay? So Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai is, he there's nothing that escapes his sight. He's watching everything and he sees everything. Okay? And like I said, a wholesome tongue is a tree of life. So again, using wisdom and knowledge in your speech is life. But the perverseness therein is a breach in the spirit. So any perverse or vain babbling or sayings is a breach. Okay? Meaning that there's a problem. It's not right, it's corrupt, it needs to be fixed. And that's the thing too, is a lot of our people are perverse. In fact, this whole world is perverse, but 2/3 of our people are perverse as well. They follow the ways of the world, and they lean upon their own understanding. That's why I'm gonna read it again. Proverbs 15:4, a wholesome tongue is a tree of life, but perverseness therein is a breach in the spirit. Okay? Let's see here. I'm going to drop to verse 6, and it says, "In the house of the righteous is much treasure, but in the revenues of the wicked is trouble." Okay, in the house of the righteous there is much treasure, okay? You know, staying out of trouble, you know, keeping your name clean and clear from accusations, you know, not having a bad reputation among the people. You know, as long as you're doing what is right and remain blameless, people can't really say shit about you. They can't dig up and they can't throw dirt on your name. They can't say anything fucked up about you. Because what have you done? What have you really done wrong, right? And the revenues of the wicked is trouble. Okay, temptation, trouble with the laws of this society, doing stupid shit that can get you in trouble or worse. You know, and as you know, that's the okay. Let's see. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna go down to let's see. Going to verse 20. Let's see. There it is. Proverbs 15:22. "Without counsel, purposes are disappointed, but in the multitude of counselors they are established." Okay, so without counsel, you know, without there being, you know, a gathering of, you know, wise men to discuss a matter, you know, the purposes are disappointed, which means, you know, that it's just, you know, without that wise counsel to make, you know, make wise decisions on things and what to do for certain matters, you know, things tend to, you know, fall out of order. They're unorganized. They're in a state of they're not being organized. They're out of order, basically. But with that wise counsel, you know, they are established, which means, you know, things are in order. You can make the wise and right decisions as long as you all are on one accord, being like-minded, and, you know, and there's not any envying or strife or contention between one another. In verse 24, and it says, verse 25, "The Lord will destroy the house of the proud, but he will establish the border of the widow." Okay, so he will destroy the proud and establish the border of the widow, and the widow referring to Israel. Okay, because as Israel is likened unto a comely and delicate woman, so Israel as a people, his nation, we are his woman. Okay, to him we are that woman, that widow that is going through this affliction, going through this hell, and we have no, you know, the only comfort we have is, you know, this. Okay, Sophia, you look up the name Sophia in the etymology, it means wisdom. This right here is our wisdom. This right here is our first love, our first, I guess you could say our our spiritual mother. Well, I'm gonna take that back. Salakia. This word is Salakia. I don't know where I was going with that, but, you know, the word of the Lord, that this is our first love. This is the woman we should be simping for. Okay, because this is the this is what gives us life, man. All right, next is going to be the book of James. All right, this is the book of James, James 4:1, and it says, "From whence come wars and fightings among you? Come they not hence even of your lust that war in your members?" Okay, so from wars and fightings among you. Okay, and your own lusts, they come from within, okay? The flesh, okay? We are constantly in a spiritual battle between spirit and flesh, okay? We have to find that temperance in mastering ourselves and disciplining ourselves to, refrain from worldly desires, things that are tempting and that make us want to take that extra step towards the one thing that we're just trying to resist, and it's a hard fight. It really is. Second Timothy chapter 2. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 23. It says, actually I'm going to start at verse 1. 2 Timothy 2 and 21. If a man therefore purge himself from these, he shall be a vessel unto honor, sanctified and meet for the master's use, and prepared unto every good work. 22. Flee also youthful lusts, but follow righteousness, faith, charity, peace with them that call on the Lord out of a pure heart. Verse 23. But foolish and unlearned questions avoid, knowing that they do gender strifes. 24. And the servant of the Lord must not strive, but be gentle unto all men, apt to teach, patient. 25. In meekness instructing those that oppose themselves, if the power peradventure will give them repentance to acknowledging of the truth. Verse 26. And they that may recover themselves out of the snare of the devil, who are taken captive by him at his will. All right, so once again, flee these youthful lusts that cause that breach in the spirit, man. That these youthful lusts, they catch you. These are nothing but the Lord catching you lacking in certain areas of discipline. You have to, because we're coming into a time where people are starting to now wake up and see that the times that we're living in, we don't have the time nor the money to spend on things that we want, those desires. We only have time to get what we need. Okay, we're leaving those times of what we want. The time of those desires, man, is coming to an end, because now people are going to start doing and getting what they need. Okay, it's a necessity. It's something that you need to sustain yourself, to survive, to live, or whatever the case. Okay, we can't no more. We have to focus on what's most important for us, what's best for us, not something that that we need for because you could spend a certain amount of money on temporary relief, a desire, when that money could have been spent for something more important. But as the scriptures say, that money is a defense, and it is. You need this society's currency is what helps us maneuver in this society. Okay. Let's see. This is gonna be the book of Job. All right, and it says here, Job 5 and 2. For wrath killeth the foolish man, and envy slayeth the silly one. Verse 3. I have seen the foolish taking root, but suddenly I cursed his habitation. Verse 4. His children are far from safety, and they are crushed in the gate, neither is there any to deliver them. So, wrath killeth the foolish man, because anger, rage can get you in a situation where you could end up in prison or death, you know. And envy slayeth the silly one. You know, being jealous, covetous, you know, desiring of another person's goods. And then in verse 3 it says, I have seen the foolish taking root, but suddenly I cursed his habitation. Verse 4, his children are far from safety. Why are they far from safety? Because the foolish one, he teaches them foolish things. He doesn't teach them wise things. He teaches them how to basically be emotional rather than logical. Okay? You know, that's the problem with a lot of parents and their kids nowadays. You know, if the children are acting out of order, rebellious, envious, and just downright just like a brute beast, you know, what does that say about the parents? What are the parents doing? Okay. Let's see, this is going to be the same book, Job, but it's going to be chapter 36, verse 13. Job 36 and 13. It says, but the hypocrites in heart heap up wrath, they cry not when he bindeth them. Okay. Verse 14, they die in youth, and their life is among the unclean. Okay. Hypocrites, being, you know, double-minded. You know, James 1:8, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways, right? And they die in their youth, and their life is among the unclean. Okay? Their life is amongst the unclean, you know, the people of this world. Okay? Those that do not seek after the knowledge of the Most High. Because they lean upon their own understanding. They go by what they believe in. You know, they establish their own righteousness. Their conscience is seared with a hot iron, meaning there's nothing that you could tell them that would change their mind. They're just downright fucking stubborn that way. Okay, next is going to be the book of Mark, chapter 7. Mark 7 and 21. Mark 7 and 21, and it says, For from within of the heart of men proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, murders, thefts, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lasciviousness, and evil eye, blasphemy, pride, and foolishness. All right? And, you know, that goes into, you know, the heart is, oh gosh. The heart above all is inherently wicked. Who could really know it? So, the heart being a symbolic of your mind, okay? So all those things, verse 23, all these evil things come from within and defile a man. So, that's why not only you have to control your body, you know, but ultimately you have to control your mind, your thoughts, so that way you don't fall prey to these temptations, to these desires. Because whatever you set your mind to, the body is going to follow. Okay, Romans chapter 16, verse 17 through 18. Romans 16, verse 17. It says, "Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause division and offenses, contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them." 18. For they that are such serve not our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, but their own belly, and by good words and fair speeches deceive the hearts of the simple. Okay? So those that within the body that are causing divisions, envyings, and strifes, you have to mark them, because those are the individuals that are going to cause problems for others. You know, cause the body to break apart, and we don't want that. We don't need that. We need the body, the brotherhood, to stay strong, right? You know, just like with people in a small group. If one person has a problem with everybody else, and you know, he doesn't see things going his way, all he's going to do is end up messing it up for everybody else in the group. You know, that's why all members of a group have to be on one accord. They have to be in agreement with one another. There can't be no emotional babblings or vain opinions. It's as simple as this: you got to be on the same page as everybody else. Okay? Excuse me. But all right. Like I said, they serve not the Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, but their own belly, and by good words and fair speech deceive the heart of the simple. So they serve their own belly, which means they serve their own. Which means they're doing this for their own wants and purposes. They're doing this for their own agenda, so to speak. And with fair speech and good words, they deceive the heart of the simple. Okay, they draw people in, get them to believe that what they say and what they think and feel is the right way when it's not. Okay, we can't do that. Okay, next is going to be James chapter 3. James chapter 3, verse 13. And it says, "Who is a wise man and endued with knowledge amongst you? Let him show out of a good conversation his works with meekness of wisdom." Okay, so whoever is a wise man, let him show out of a good conversation of his works with meekness and wisdom. So let him prove himself, you know, to show if he is what he says he's all about. Okay? Because, as the old saying goes, actions speak louder than words, right? So you can say this and say that, but if you don't perform it through your action, those words are empty. They're nothing. Verse 14, "But if ye have bitter envying and strife in your hearts, glory not and lie not against the truth." Okay? So any of those feelings of jealousy and bitterness, that's something you gotta overcome, because humility, it's bittersweet. Humility is very bittersweet, which means it at the same time, yes, it's being humble. You have to certain things you have to accept that are hard, and there's things that where being humble, you're oh gosh, how can I put it? By being humble, you're doing what is the right thing. Okay, you're not being boastful. You're not going about your own understanding and thinking that you know what's right when really you don't. And so don't lie against the truth. Okay? Verse 15, this wisdom descendeth not from above, but is earthly, sensual, and devilish. For where envying and strife is, there is confusion, every evil work. Okay? So whenever there's envying, jealousy, rage, covetousness, okay, that all leads to, corruption and ultimately destruction. Okay? That's why, we can't, we have to learn to be in control of our emotions. Roughly paraphrasing, he that hath rule over his own spirit, Salakia, just roughly paraphrasing, you have to have rule over your own spirit. Okay, you have to have self-control. You have to realize that there's a time and place for everything. Okay. Verse 17, but the wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle and easy to be entreated, full of mercy and good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy. And the fruit of righteousness is sown in peace of them that make peace. Okay? So the fruit of righteousness is sown in peace of them that make peace. Okay? So them that keep things in order and keep the peace, that's where righteousness dwells, because you want to keep order. You don't want there to be any arguments, no strife, no wars, no quarrels. You would like to work things out through reason, and that's the way we have to be. And don't get me wrong, because Exodus chapter 15 verse 3, Yahweh is a man of war. Yahweh is his name. If there comes a time where if words are not reaching out to this individual and they keep pressing and pressing and pressing, they get physical, you have every right to defend yourself. But, don't just, before you get to that, don't let things get to that point. If reasoning doesn't work, walk away. And if not, then okay. This time to give them the business, right? This is going to be Sirach chapter 28, verse 8. Sirach 28 and 8. And it says, abstain from actually, I'm going to start at verse 4. Okay, hold on a second. Salakia. Okay, let me start Sirach 28 from the top, verse 1. And it says, he that revengeth shall find vengeance from the Lord, and he will surely keep his sins in remembrance. Okay? Roughly paraphrasing, the Lord said, vengeance belongeth to me. I will repay. Okay? So, if someone has done you wrong or screwed you over or has done something terrible to you, and you're really pissed off about it, you get that feeling of when you want to get back at this motherfucker. But as the Lord said, vengeance is mine, I will repay. So, whenever you're feeling those emotions that will cause you to do irrational and negative things, just pray to the Lord, and he will take care of it. Okay? He will get that person. He will get them. He'll make them pay for what they did. Okay? Verse 2, forgive thy neighbor the hurt that he hath done unto thee, so shall thy sins also be forgiven when thou prayest. See? So, no matter how that's why they say that what's an old saying, revenge is a dish best served cold. And it is. Because it could, you take matters into your own hands, it could come back to bite you in the ass later. Verse 3, and it says, one man beareth hatred against another, and doeth he seek pardon from the Lord? So, So that's the thing, man. You may hate somebody, but for what they did, but in the Lord the Lord is watching you. He's like, okay, you hate this person, you have a problem with this person, but what about you? Yeah, they did you wrong, but think about all the wrong things you've done. You got to seek the Lord, you got to seek that pardon from the Lord, man, because just because someone did you wrong doesn't mean you haven't done wrong yourself, okay? Verse 4, he showeth no mercy to a man which is like himself, and doeth he ask forgiveness of his own sins? Verse 5, if he that is but flesh nourish hatred, who will entreat for pardon of his sins? Okay? So you have to learn to get rid of that negativity, man, because that hatred, that rage, wrath, like I said, man, wrath destroys a man. It does. That's why, feelings of resentment or holding grudges. And I'm speaking, and I'll be the first to admit to myself, I used to be one of those individuals before I came into the truth. I used to be someone who used to hold grudges, be vindictive, resentful, bitter. I was like that. But after so many years of being like that, that negativity, it weighs down your spirit. It tires you out, makes you depressed, discouraged, lack of motivation to do anything positive, man. You got to let those feelings, those negative feelings go. All right, verse 6, remember thy end, and let enmity cease. Remember corruption and death, and abide in the commandments. Verse 7, remember the commandments, and bear no malice to thy neighbor. Remember the covenant of the highest, and wink at ignorance. So, no matter what we're dealing with in our daily life, whether it be with someone who gets on our nerves, someone who wronged us in the past, or whatever the case may be, we have to keep this in mind to keep us from becoming carnal, okay? Because the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but spiritual, okay? All right, and it says here, verse 8, abstain from strife, and thou shalt diminish thy sins, for a furious man will kindle strife. Okay, so a furious man, he'll stir up shit, but we are to avoid that, okay? We don't want to be around people who are going to stir up shit. We don't want to be around people who are going to cause problems. We don't want to be around people who are not going to use reason before they use their fists. Okay? This is going to be Sirach chapter 19, verse 6. Okay, now, this is Sirach 19, and I'm going to start at the top. A laboring man that is given to drunkenness shall not be rich, and he that contemneth small things shall fall little by little. Okay? Verse 2, wine and women will make men of understanding to fall away, and he that cleaveth to harlots will become impudent. Okay? So, wine and women. Okay? So being a drunkard, and yet you're you're a laboring man, and you result to that drunkenness, you will not inherit the riches of life. You will as the scripture, let me see where it said that again. And he that contemneth small things shall fall little by little. Okay? So you could be a hardworking man, but you do things that hurt you instead of doing things that help build you up. That's another thing too, is a lot of people in this society are self-destructive. Okay? They're not very good at managing money. They have bad spending habits. They have addiction issues. And wine and women, liquor, women cause men of understanding to fall away, because that liquor, that alcohol, it loosens you up, makes you uninhibited. And the women, those are temptation. That is the ultimate temptation for men as women, obviously. But that's the thing. When you combine wine and women, that's nothing but a snare for men. And he that cleaveth to harlots will become impotent. So if you dwell in the company of all these damn filthy ass women, it's just gonna make you, it's just gonna mess you up. Okay? Even the Lord said it himself that women are a distraction. They are. All right. Verse 3. Moss and worms shall have him to heritage, and a bold man shall be taken away. Verse 4. He that is hasty to give credit is light-minded, and he that sinneth shall offend against his own soul. So if you're quick to give somebody credit, that means you're light-minded. That means you're you're not very, how can I put it? I'm trying to figure out that word. Another word for light-minded, meaning you're not very, you don't really, light-minded, meaning that you're not very, I'm just gonna use the word cautious, because, when you give someone credit right off the bat, that shows that you don't really, that means you're someone that's, I guess you could say, very easy to please, or easily impressionable, or easily influenced. So that's something that you also got to watch out for, because people that are easily influenced or impressionable, they can be easily swayed and turned aside from this. So that's something you got to practice. Verse 5. Whoso taketh pleasure in wickedness shall be condemned, but he that resisteth pleasures crowned his life. Okay, talking about abstain from the worldly lusts of the flesh. In verse 6. He that can rule his tongue shall live without strife, and he that hateth babbling shall have less evil. So, like I said before, take care in choosing the words that you say. Because once again, words have power. What you say affects others, whether it be for good or bad. Okay, but if you use wisdom and speak to people in a peaceable manner, you'll have less strife, less evil to deal with, less problems. Okay? That's part of using wisdom, is keeping the peace, keeping things in order. Okay, now we're going to Sirach, the 4th chapter. Sirach chapter 4, verse 10. Sirach chapter 4, verse 10, and it says, Be as a father unto the fatherless, and instead of a husband unto their mother, so shalt thou be as the son of the Most High, and he shall love thee more than thy mother doeth. Okay? So be a father to the fatherless, okay? Be a role model to those that don't have the right type of guidance, Show them how to be right and to do right and to act right, Show them the right thing. Do the right thing, lead by example. Okay? Because those that come after you, they don't have as being who we are as men of the Lord, we're supposed to lead by example, to be that father to the fatherless, to teach them and show them the right thing in the right way. Okay? Okay? So, and by showing that you're by leading by example, you're making a good example, and you're giving you're giving a good name to the Lord. You know, He'll reward you for that. It pleases Him that you are doing things the way He instructed you to do it. Verse 11, wisdom exalteth her children, and layeth hold of them that seek her. Verse 12, he that loveth her loveth life, and they that seek to her early shall be filled with joy. Verse 13, he that holdeth her fast shall inherit glory, and wheresoever she entereth, the Lord will bless. Verse 14, they that serve her shall minister to the Holy One, and them that love her the Lord doth love. Verse 15, whoso giveth ear unto her shall judge the nations, and he that attendeth unto her shall dwell securely. Verse 16, if a man commit himself unto her, he shall inherit her, and his generation shall hold in her possession. Okay, so wisdom. This is the woman we should be simping for, okay? This is what's going to, this book, like I said, is our first love. Once again, I wanted to correct myself when I said spiritual mother. Think of it as like your spiritual mother that is, you see it in nature, you see it in people. Like the mother is the one that raises the kids and teaches them, right? So this right here is basically our spiritual mother. Yeah, I had to recorrect myself there from the start when I said that. But so yeah, this is basically our spiritual mother giving us instructions to, on what to do and what not to do, and how to do things in the right way. But you just can't let a liar teach this truth to you. You just can't. Verse 17, for at the first she will walk with him by crooked ways, and bring fear and dread upon him, and torment him with her discipline, until she may trust his soul and try him by her laws. Okay, so wisdom is going to put you through a series of tests to see if you really are, if you really are about this. Okay, wisdom will try you, and trust me, when we first came in, wisdom, yeah, it put me through fear and dread. Put me through some vexation, as do with all other brothers and sisters. Verse 18, then she will return the straight way unto him, and comfort him, and show him her secrets. Verse 19, but if he go wrong, she will forsake him, and give him over to his own ruin. So, once wisdom has tested you, and if you have succeeded, she will begin to trust you, and she will comfort you and show him your secrets, which is this knowledge, wisdom, understanding. But, if you forsake wisdom, or if you go wrong, she will forsake you, which means she'll forget you, and she will give you over to your own ruin. And that's also going into the Lord doing taking his spirit away from you, okay? Sifting you out. That's why you really have to be rooted into this and show the Lord that you are truly sincere. Because if he sees that you're not sincere, that's just, you're just wasting your time as well as his. He doesn't have time for the insincere. Verse 20, observe the opportunity and beware of evil, and be not ashamed when it concerneth thy soul. Okay? So, always be aware of your surroundings and beware of evil. Like if you see something that isn't right, just avoid it. Because, we're surrounded by evil on all sides. And you just got to know how to move accordingly in verse 21, it says, "For there is a shame that bringeth sin," and there is, "and there is a shame which is glory and grace." Okay, humility. Okay. All right. Next is gonna be 1 Corinthians. First Corinthians chapter 10, chapter 1, verse 10 through 13. Let me get it real fast here. Okay, 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 10. And it says, "Now I beseech you, brethren, by the name of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, that ye all speak the same thing, and that there be no divisions among you, but that ye be perfectly joined together in the same mind and in the same judgment." Okay, being like-minded, being on the same page, on one accord, in agreement with one another. Okay, where there's no strife or envyings among you. Okay, and that's the problem here with America. People are divided against one another. The haves and the have-nots, Democrats against Republicans, you know, like back in the old time with the Romans, the patricians against the plebeians, I believe. I can't remember I think that's what it was, but yeah, this America is a divided country. This place is a complete mess. There is nothing organized about this place. There is nothing peaceable about it. Crime rates going up. More and more people coming out with, you know, being more prejudiced, sexist, and so on and so forth, amongst all other things. That just goes to show you that these people are weak-minded. They can't handle the hardship. They can't handle hardship because they've been living so deliciously in comfort that, you know, they haven't been put. They don't know how to handle when they're being tested. Verse 11, "For it hath been declared unto me of you, my brethren, by them which are of the house of Chloe, that there are contentions among you." Now, verse 12, "Now this I say, that every one of you saith, I am of Paul, and I am of Apollo." Slakia, hold on. Slakia. Excuse me. That there are contentions among you. So, yes, you know, in this truth, in this truth, there's been a lot of contentions between brothers. Some excommunicated, you know, some just completely bugged out, went back into the world. Some caused strife and envyings, you know, divisions, man. That's why you can't. That's also ultimately part of the sifting process, to see who is sincere, who is genuine, and who is willing to get in line, you know, willing to follow suit, get in order. Now let me drop down to verse 13 here. And it says, "Is Hamashiach divided? Was Paul crucified for you? Or were ye baptized in the name of Paul?" Okay, let's see. Yeah, this is so, you know, is Hamashiach divided? No. Were we baptized was Paul crucified for you? No. And were you baptized in the name of Paul? No. Was during the time when Yahushua was in his ministry, you know, he kept the law perfectly, and those that followed him, he led by example, and he set the standard for those under him to not only to learn and to follow, but to teach to others. And we weren't baptized, and, you know, Paul wasn't crucified for us. It was Yahushua. And were you baptized in the name of Paul? No. So, Paul was merely, was just a servant doing his part. Okay? Paul's just like any of us. He was once in the world, but once, the Spirit of the Lord woke him up, that's when he had to make that change. Just like how we had to make that change. All right? I'm going to close out with Colossians. That's going to be Colossians chapter... Colossians chapter 3. Verse 12. And it says, "Put on therefore as the elect of the Most High, holy and beloved, bowels of mercy, kindness, humbleness of mind, meekness, long-suffering." Verse 13. "Forbearing one another and forgiving one another. If any man have a quarrel against any, even as Hamashiach forgave you, so also do ye." Okay, so if you have a problem with somebody, of course you rebuke him, you pull him off to the side and you rebuke him of his mistake, and if he listens, you have gained a brother. But if not, that's when you have to mark those that cause those divisions and avoid them, cut them loose. But, at the same time, if he repents, then, you have to forgive him because, he made a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes. We're not perfect. We're not going to be perfect here. Verse 14, "And above all these things, put on charity, which is the bond of perfectness." Verse 15, "And let the peace of the Most High rule in your hearts, to the which also ye are called in one body, and be ye thankful." Okay? So you have to be grateful for this. You have to be truly grateful for Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Okay? Be grateful every day. In fact, going back to Sirach chapter 43, verse 30. And it says, when you glorify the Lord, exalt him as much as you can, for even yet will he far exceed. And when you exalt him, put forth all your strength, and be not weary, for you can never go far enough. Okay? It is all thanks to the will and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai that he had mercy on us. Just think about it. He could have chose any other member out of your family to wake up and leave you in the world, but he didn't. He chose you out of your family, your loved ones, your relatives. He could have chose any of them, but he chose you. Okay? That right there shows you that the Lord sees something more in you than he does in these other people. Okay? He sees something better. Something that should be held to that standard. All right? So once again, this was, this camp lesson was just mainly about how you have to learn how to be on one accord, to be like-minded instead of being, constantly being in disagreements. Okay, because like I said, the whole thing about a one world government or one world religion, it's not going to work because you have different people from all different aspects of life, different cultures, different beliefs, different philosophies and all that. They're not going to agree with you on your philosophies and vice versa. It's just not going to work. It is not going to work. And that's why the Lord said he was going to turn the people back to a pure language, which means that all these languages that you hear, they're going to all be done away with, and everybody's going to go back to speaking the language that they were speaking from the beginning, and that was Hebrew. Okay? And they're going to abide by the law, statutes, and commandments that come out of the scriptures. All right? So that way we can all be on one accord, we all understand one another, and we can all, get in line. All right? Hope that this was an edifying camp lesson. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, B'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, B'Hashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles of the Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity, and unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning, and unto the Bayat Davadah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad, I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. See you in the next lesson, Lord willing. Kwam Yasharala, Wa Abababal, Shalawam, Barakatam.